Hey, it's Tess, content creator, model, presenter, and host of the Tess Talks podcast, on a mission to ignite curiosity. Hey, Han.
Hello, hun.
Thanks for joining me again.
I'm excited. More excited for this one than I was the business overview.
I bet you were. Yeah, me too. I'm pumped for this. I feel like, okay, so what we're going to do today, everyone, is a couples Q&A. So these are questions that have been submitted from people on Instagram and TikTok.
Exciting.
So I know some of the questions. I don't think
Okay.
you really know any of them.
None.
So,
Don't know any. You haven't told me.
which is great. We're going in blind. I like that. So we get some real honest answers out of you.
Raw answers.
But no, I'm really excited for this. I think it'll be good because why I'm so excited is because I think it'll give people a chance to see another side of you that they probably don't really get to see often, because you definitely uphold your professionsionalism a lot. And I don't know, there are so many amazing layers to you.
Right.
So
Making me nervous now.
no, it's all good stuff. So anyway, I hope people can get a bit of an insight into the real you.
Great. Looking
All
forward
the
to
more
it.
layers of you.
Jeez.
All right. Are you nervous?
Well, a little bit after that little brief intro.
I'm like talking it up a bit. All right. Let's get into it. Question 1. Got all my cue cards
Jeez.
here.
Okay.
How did you two meet?
So,
I'll answer them with you too, so don't feel pressured. You don't have to
yeah.
answer all
I'm
the
trying
questions.
to, where are we starting? So,
How did we
I
meet?
think, well, I actually met you probably first digitally. We were doing influencer marketing, big part of our marketing strategy in Australia, globally, still is today. But as a smaller business back in, I think 2016, 17, I think we only had at that time 10 staff maybe. A lot of those staff were marketing, but I was really hands-on in terms of influencer marketing. And I remember seeing a couple of posts
Oh,
when
so you handpicked me. I didn't know about this.
I don't know if I handpicked you, but I definitely saw a couple of posts of you advertising and promoting our product and doing some great content. And you did catch my eye, I think, at that time. But physically met you at the first time at one of our product launch events in...
That's right. I was at Caulfield Racecourse. It was a Bondi Sands event.
Correct,
I
yeah.
think, around the races or
Yeah.
Caulfield Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a launch event, and I remember the night actually. It was a very windy night, and I think a few things went wrong with the event, but ultimately
It was freezing. That's
it was freezing. Yeah. But I remember seeing you then. But I think I met you.
Yeah, we had a nice little chat that night. I remember that. Yeah.
But I actually think it might have been in Osborne. We had a chat.
After the party.
The after party, yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember meeting you in person that time, and we definitely had a good chat. And
So that was probably, 3 years before we went on our first official date.
yeah, it was 7 years ago, wasn't it? 2007. Yeah, 3 years. It's gone so quick, like that 4-year period from 20 to 24. But yeah, 3 years since we first met till I think we had our first date.
But it was so nice because I feel like during that time we became like friendly acquaintances, and we'd like try and stay in touch a little bit, just like on Instagram or whatever. And I remember when I launched like a business at that time, you were really supportive, and I would kind of come to you for questions and a bit of guidance. And I remember inviting you to our launch party, and you were overseas. But I just found that you were always like super supportive, and I really like respected and appreciated even like those short moments we had where we would like connect and catch up. Because you were always just, I don't know, just really nice. We always like had a really nice connection, I think, but it's not like we really ever saw each other that much.
No, and I just remember when I did see you, just your energy. I remember that your energy and fire in the belly, to not only from your business side but just a general conversation. I think that's part of a connection you make with someone. I always remember that feeling that I had seeing you. You always were so positive and had that fire in the belly and passion to grow. And it was good memories in the early days.
Yeah. So then how did our first date come about? That was at the end of the first big lockdown.
Yep.
In 2020.
I think we at the time, just by timing, we both came out of relationships at the time or around that time.
Yeah.
We obviously still had a good connection, and I think we did speak to each other a bit in 2019, early 2020, and I think I just got enough courage at one stage to ask you out. I think I might have been thinking about it for a while, but
I don't think you ever lacked any courage.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you made me nervous.
Cute.
So, yeah, I think at that time I thought, geez, I want to have a date and get to know you a bit more.
But I think it was still kind of, I don't think it still was in a lockdown or something, because you invited me over for takeout. And
Yeah.
it was like our first kind of date.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know, watched a movie or something. And then I was like, okay, I got to go home, bye. And you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Bye then.
I know. I was trying to make it nice and romantic. I don't think it was that romantic, to be honest, but it was a lockdown date. Japanese. I remember Japanese. I still remember good conversation, and you sort of got up and went, and I thought, okay, I don't know if that went well or not. But
Yeah, I wasn't going to give you too much too soon. But then I would say our next official date, you kind of wrangled me you kind of tricked me in a sense. You asked if I wanted to go on a weekend away with you. That was literally a week or two later. And I don't think we'd seen each
might
other
have been a
since.
bit of strategy towards that. I sort of get
Yeah,
you
it was
away.
definite strategy.
You couldn't escape.
Lock her in. She can't go anywhere.
We went to Lake House, didn't we? And we enjoyed a great weekend down there, and good food, and that was a lovely weekend though. But yeah, I think part of my strategy was that she can't escape this one. She can't get up and just go. It's a bit of a distance away.
And you know what? It actually worked. It was a great strategy, but that weekend was honestly so amazing. And I think that's when I really learnt the real you. And we also realized how aligned we were, and we just had the best weekend. We were playing tennis together and had amazing conversations, and we went for runs together. And there was just so many things that aligned so quickly. And I think it gave us the opportunity to learn so much about each other really quickly. And it was honestly it was just the best weekend. And I think both of us say that weekend really quickly solidified that we wanted to progress something.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
the two of us. Yeah.
Because I think initially a lot of those conversations we had and the friendship we had was probably more business orientated, I would say.
Yeah.
And that gave us an opportunity to open up more about who we were and discuss the things we love outside of profession and share a bit of our values and whatnot. So I think from there was definitely more of a personable connection.
Totally.
Which was...
And our relationship progressed so quickly, and it's so funny because sometimes I talk to people about it, and I think my younger self, I know that I used to judge relationships for moving really fast. But I think as you get older, you kind of know more about what you're looking for and what you want in a person. I think you and I were both in the exact right place in our lives for kind of starting something as well. And our relationship just progressed really quickly. And there was also, I feel the universe kind of was pushing us together. I know, I think a week or two after that Dalesford trip, we both randomly had booked trips to Sydney separately, and we didn't know that we were both going to be in Sydney at the same time. And you went up a bit before me, and you were staying with mates, and I was supposed to stay with a girlfriend. And the day before I flew up to Sydney, she said, you can't stay with me because my housemates can't get out because there was lockdowns in another state that they were going to. And I remember messaging you oh no, my accommodation's just fallen through. And you were like, oh, well, I've actually just booked a hotel because I didn't want to stay with the boys.
That's
it was too party vibes and whatever. So you're more than welcome to stay with me. And I was like, all right, sure. So we ended up
Another
spending...
part of my strategy.
Another part, I was just as gullible as whatever. But anyway. And then we spent, a week or two together up in Sydney. And we were just on at that point.
Yeah.
It was there was no questioning what we were. It was just our relationship just progressed really quickly at that point. We moved in together, I think, within 3 months. And it all just felt
They were great times.
So right,
because I think that time when Melbourne was in severe lockdown and then we sort of got that opening to go travelling interstate, and we were both really excited to go to Sydney, and I was spending some time with my friends, and obviously you're spending time with your friends, but we sort of started joining from the hips and ended up staying there together. But that was really exciting again. I think getting to know someone outside of your environment's really cool as well, and obviously the last few years we've done so much travelling together as well, so I think it was really good to start the relationship like that to a degree.
Yeah, me too. Okay, next question. How did you know that you had met the one?
I think you mentioned it before regarding when you get older. And I think the wise people, when I look back on it, wise people used to say to me, and wise people, older people, I always used to put them in the old bucket, but they're so right. I think when you get older, you realise that when you do know, you know, in terms of connection, and you don't like wasting too much time when you get older as well. And I think for me...
Yeah, you've got a pretty strict timeline going on.
I felt it intrinsically, and I think at that time you sort of do know. You just feel something that's right, and obviously any relationship, there's obviously chemistry at the start. But for our friendship, I did know you as a person, which did help form our relationship. But when we started opening up to each other, I was very surprised of how aligned our values were, and what we were passionate by, our value alignment, which I think is crucial. I think ultimately there's got to be some differences, but I think your core values need to be very similar. And that's what I found pretty quickly they were, and our passion in parts of life. And I think that was really exciting. I think by then I knew pretty quickly, and I think I wanted to move pretty quickly then as well.
At that point in your life. No, I completely agree. That was one thing that became very obvious very quickly to us. It's that all these different pillars, I'll call them, that were always so important to me. I found all of them within you. So, that person that felt like my best friend, but also, stimulated me and challenged me, was also, interested in business. And we always talk about growth mindset together and challenging each other. And we always want to be better and do more and explore the world. And there's just so many different facets of us that really came together, and, loving our health and wellness and just
politics.
Politics, lots of political discussions over COVID, especially.
Solving the world problems.
Yeah, solving all the problems. So I think, that's what really stood out to know that.
I definitely did.
Yeah.
Definitely did.
And then he proposed. And then also, oh my God, we should probably mention, because I think this is such a good story, although I was going to save it for our wedding, but
okay.
Talking about the one, remember at the races, I saw you in 2018 there.
Yes.
We were in the Moon Marquee, and I think I saw you for maybe not even 5 minutes. I was about to leave, and everyone had a few drinks. So we were just having a quick chat between friends, and then I left. I was like, I've got to go. So yeah. And I don't know, 6 months into our relationship or a year into our relationship, you and your sister told me the craziest thing. Do you want to say?
Yes, and my sister, first of all, believes she's a bit of a psychic. She thinks she's got this skill.
Well,
I'm not sure it's true or not, but
I
think this part, it definitely was true. But yeah, you're right, it was Derby Day, and we were both in the same marquee. And I actually still remember, it's funny when Lee talks about this story, because I actually remember the exact moment as well. It's imprinted in my mind what actually occurred. And I think Lee was looking at us, talking and having a conversation with a few friends. And then you went away to the bar, and I went back to my sister, and she looked at me and was just so serious when she said that. She goes, "Shaun, you're going to marry that girl." And I said, "What?" And she did it in the most serious tone and voice. And I've gone, okay. Thanks, Lee. And I just always remember,
and she's always
remembered it. And yeah, she definitely believes she's that skill. That's so crazy.
That is
so crazy.
Yeah. She's psychic.
And that's the first time she actually saw you, and she didn't even talk to you.
It just blows my mind, because I remember that conversation, and we spoke for, I honestly reckon, not even 5 minutes.
No.
And the fact that she's just
witnessing
pulled that out of thin air, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she just saw us and conversing with one another, and I don't know, but she just said she saw the energy and the chemistry, and she thought we'll get married. And she says she's a psychic, so maybe she is. I don't know.
I should go see her for some psychic sessions. All right, next question. Do you consider yourselves friends aside of being a couple?
Definitely. I think that's the first part of our relationship. We were friends.
Totally.
So definitely really strong friends. And as I said, we've got really strong similar interests. And I think it's friendships. You need to support each other as much as a partner. And I think friends support you in different ways. And you definitely do that for me because you're very cross and interested in a lot of things I do and vice versa. So I think, I think our relationship was formed on friendship. And I like to think now it's obviously a very good friendship.
Totally. Best friends, mate. What's this very good friendship?
Best friends. Best friends.
No, but I actually do talk about that all the time because I feel like what would be the point of marrying someone who isn't your best friend? Like, you do everything with them, you live with them. Like, I think that is at the forefront of every relationship, or should be. Like, that's
definitely
where the foundations are set. Is alone time necessary in a relationship?
Definitely. And again, we're very aligned on that. We both like our alone time.
Yeah.
And I think we have our interests that ensures that we're both very busy people as well. So we live very busy professional lives and surrounded by always a lot of people in particular. Obviously, you're all very heavy into social media and influencing as well, which takes up a lot of your time in terms of mentally doing that all day. And for me, professionally, around a lot of people, internally, externally, I think alone time is crucial, and we've got obviously our fitness for that. But also on top of that, I think it's important to have a sense of your own alone time to recharge and rejuvenate. And I think we look for areas for that for us, and we encourage that as well, which I think is really important for the relationship.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we both do enjoy our alone time in a similar way. I think, some people thrive off always being around people and stuff. I think you and I both need that alone time. And I know personally, if I don't have that alone time, then I feel quite like disconnected and not settled in myself.
Yeah.
And so I think we're both really, it's nice that we're both kind of quite on the same page in that regard.
Yeah.
We can kind of both be at home.
I definitely like a little bit of quiet, especially at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, but I don't think we're really aligned on that one.
Yeah, your bedtime.
That's when my alone time starts.
That's when I get like most chatty. Like I feel like every girl does. I start telling you about like my childhood.
It would be nice to have some more alone time.
Let's hang out. I feel like that's pretty standard for a female. It's time to take a moment for today's sponsor, which is no other than Bondi Sands. I have always been an avid user and promoter of Bondi products, as those of you who've been following me for a while would know. I'm always incredibly impressed with the innovation they continue to present, so I wanted to share with you their newest products, which I love. If you're looking to enhance your complexion with a natural-looking, everyday glow, then the world's #1 self-tan brand has you covered. Its new self-tanning range, Technocolor, is now available for face and body. Technocolor Self-Tanning Face Serum has been clinically curated to provide you with a tailored tanning result. There are 4 shades to suit varied skin tones. I'm shade Emerald, but I recommend jumping online and doing the skin quiz to find your best match. What makes me even more obsessed with this range is that it features a blemish control complex to help prevent breakouts and blemishes. I have blemish-prone skin, so this is a huge win. Its dermochromatic color technology uses active ingredients, color enhancers, and hydration, including ingredients like chamomile and vitamin C. Technocolor Face has a shade for every skin tone and literally leaves your skin glowing. For results as unique as you are, try Technocolor Self-Tanning Face Serum. Available at bondisands.com or check the website for your nearest retailer. All right. Do we have any advice for good communication in a relationship?
I think just practice is most important. So I think ultimately a good communication is about practice. And once you got those behaviours right in terms of being open, I think it's just practicing it. And I think that's a big thing for everything. So ultimately it's about encouraging it and encouraging it through the right environment is crucial. So whatever that looks like in terms of a routine, and we live busy lives and being distracted. So as long as those behaviours are right, I think it's just practicing it is really, really important. But also encouraging it, because ultimately you got to put time towards it, and you got to have that dedication to do that.
Yeah.
and be disciplined for that. But as I said, it's also about practice, and you got to communicate and practice, and it's about listening and engaging and making sure that you put the effort and focus on that.
Yeah, totally. And every relationship is so different too, and people have such different communication styles. And I think, it takes a long time to really really learn about the person you're with. And people continue to evolve and change throughout their whole lives. So it's like I don't think it's something that ever like fully stops. I think you're always continually like practicing, as you say, or like trying to understand your partner and where they're at, and really listening and learning and like growing with each other. I think it's like a constant evolution in a relationship. I think some people, can look at some relationships and be like, oh, that looks like really easy and whatever. I don't necessarily think any relationship it should be easy, because it's a continual like growth and expansion of your lives and your lives together.
Yeah.
And that takes continuous like work.
Yeah,
and,
development. And also learning. Like I learn a lot from you and communication on a personal point of view. I think you're a great communicator. I can learn a lot from you. I think I can still improve a lot. I think I'm a very good communicator professionally, but personally, I think I can improve, and I'm on that journey with you because you're a very good communicator. You openly talk about things and really converse well. So again, it's a continuous journey, but again, it's practice and
it's that willingness, like even as exactly what you're saying. Like I think we've both always been really willing to like both improve and both take on like feedback, and we're just always like willing to like learn and understand where the other one's coming from. And maybe that's not always easy, but I think that's one of the really great like challenges and improvements, is to always try and like meet each other where we're at.
Exactly.
And really listen and be there through the different like ebbs and flows.
Definitely.
In our lives.
Definitely.
Yeah. I love it. I feel like relationships are almost like our biggest test in a way. They're such big like learning and like growth opportunities.
Yeah, and I think there's mindful generalisation in terms of being what's a great communicator. I think ultimately, as you mentioned, there's a lot of peaks and troughs, and it's challenging sometimes to be always that excelled and best in class, and I think that's just not sustainable. It's just probably making sure there's a dedicated effort towards it, and making sure you want to continue to develop and learn, which is the right mindset.
Totally. And someone else asked, like, what is the best way to resolve disagreements in a relationship? But I kind of feel like that's exactly what we're saying now. It's like that willingness to actually want to understand where the other person is coming from, and realizing that you're not in this, like, not an individualistic thing anymore. You're
Definitely
in this with someone
partnership.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is something that you have learned from each other that has changed you for the better? Cute.
I like this question.
Everything.
Definitely with you is your patience and empathy, and just your general demeanour and calming influence is something that I find it very attractive, and something that I've learnt from you, how important that is in communication, but also just in your environment. And it's something that I love that you lead that for us, but definitely I want to be better in it as well. But you are that person for me, which is great. But yeah, I really look up to you. It doesn't matter what's sort of going on in terms of our life, or the definitely over the last few years in terms of some of the stresses we've had, how level-headed you've been and how calm you've been, and such a rock support. So definitely that's something that I admire with you.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad I can bring that to the relationship. I feel like I've learned so much from you. But I guess maybe the one thing that stands out is just the way that you kind of like challenge me and encourage me to continually like be the best person that I can be. Like, you are so incredibly supportive of me and what I want to do and achieve. And I think you just help to like really lift me up and give me that like bigger confidence to do things on like a bigger scale that maybe I never fully like trusted that I could do. Like, you give me this like sense of belief that we kind of can like do anything, and or that I can do anything that I set my mind to. And so, yeah, you just uplift me in a way and make me feel like that. Honestly, like, it's going to sound so cheesy. Oh my God. But like,
Say it.
You do make me feel like that anything is possible. And I think that's because I've seen like what you've done for yourself and how you've like grown your own life, and but the way that you actually strategically like implement things in your life to like get shit done and make shit happen. And yeah, it just inspires me honestly every day.
Oh, that's good. Nice to hear, hon. I'm glad.
This is cute. I think we should have these conversations more often at home.
I like it.
Gonna answer questions more often. Has falling pregnant changed your relationship?
Do you know what? I think, like, I was always mindful because you are an avid reader and a researcher. So we always looked at this pregnancy and what could happen and what was going to happen. And it's just incredible, like, how well you are in terms of physically and the energy you have through your pregnancy. You've just been so fortunate.
Yeah.
And from a day-to-day thing, it hasn't changed. I think I've got more admiration for you and feel closer to you. But if anything, it's probably drawn us a bit closer together. I think we've been blessed with such a great pregnancy thus far, fingers crossed.
Totally. So
but that's
lucky.
been an amazing journey thus far. But I think it's brought us closer together.
Were we expecting a girl?
So I always thought, even though actually on our gender reveal, I actually put boy there just to even it out a little bit.
No, you did that to make your nephew happy.
Yeah, well, true.
He wanted
My
a boy
nephew
cousin.
was hoping for a boy. But
I thought you changed your mind. You thought it was a girl.
I always felt, I don't know, as feminine. I think for me, I've always had such a big feminine part of my life.
Yeah.
And my sister and mum, obviously, and through schooling and my business and mentors, always been female. My workforce is 95% female. My brand's pretty female-centric. And I just felt like we're going to have a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy we are.
Yeah.
The leader of the pack will be a strong female leader. Well, I think it's awesome for our family. But I just...
Girl power, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, that I had a psychic a few years ago tell me that they already saw a baby girl in my ether.
Ah.
Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was funny when I fell pregnant, because I always thought I would have a girl first. Just don't know why. I just always had that thought. But when I fell pregnant, everyone around me was having boys. And so I just put myself into that category that I would be having a boy. And I was adamant that it was a boy. And when we did our gender reveal, I was in so much shock. When we found out it was a girl, I was like...
You're silently very happy.
Yeah. I'm excited to have a little mini me first.
No, it's awesome.
I
It's
definitely
awesome.
want a boy too.
Yeah.
Someone asked, how often do you guys have date night?
I think, I think we try to have date night at least a couple of times a week this point in time.
Yeah.
We've always got something. Well, I'm a planner, as you know. So I like to have something booked, whether it's short term or longer term. I like to have things to look forward to. And spontaneous, we like to do things as well. But I think we do well on the date nights. I think we do well.
Yeah, we plan some nice things. I think like during the weeks, like often, especially in the last like 12 months, we've probably been quite busy. So maybe we didn't prioritize date nights enough.
Yeah.
And I think with a bub coming along, I think that's something I would definitely like to kind of organize more, to have those like non-distracted like date nights. But we are very good at being spontaneous and randomly being like, let's go out for dinner or let's go do something.
Yeah, if I had my way, I'll be doing it most nights.
I know. I'm going to rein you in. I'm going to stick to my veggie bowls.
I know.
Do we, someone said, do we make sure to have dinner together every night?
Definitely have dinner together. But I like, as you know, I like having dinner very early.
So early.
And even last night, I was getting pushed about having it later, but I'm a 6 o'clock man, so.
Yeah, I managed to get you to 7 last night.
I know, I was
so
like,
proud of
come on. But we always eat together.
Yeah, we always try and make that effort. Even if we're not eating the same thing, sometimes we like to eat, often we like to eat different things. You're very like simple man. Yeah, you're like a meat and veg kind of guy. And I'm like, let's make a curry or veggie bowls or like something new and delicious, pasta. And you're like, no.
Yeah, you got all the colours, I've just got the meat.
Yeah, exactly. Such a boy, honestly. Okay, there's a couple questions for you. Someone asked, I'm starting a business with a friend as a business partner. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, great. I think it's important to have business partners. I think it's great to bring in someone or share that with someone and going through that with someone. it comes a very lonely space being a founder of a business or starting a business. I think most importantly is that you've got the shared vision of what that business is. How do you get there? There's going to be cause some conversation between partners, and that's important. It's an important skill set to have. You've got some sort of influence and making sure negotiating with your partner, what that looks like. But ultimately, if your vision is very clear and that vision has some sort of output, then you're just working towards that. I really do encourage business partnerships because it is a very lonely space running a business or starting a business. And if you can bring someone in that you trust and that you've got a good relationship with, you're going to understand that you're going to have disagreements. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
There could be disagreements on strategy, on financials. There could be disagreements on customer focus, where it may be. But ultimately, if your vision's very clear on what you want to achieve, short or longer term, that's all you can ask. But I do definitely encourage it.
Yeah,
it's a great move.
I guess it's just having that certainty going in. Hey,
and you're never going to have certainty, to be honest. I think that partnership or business is not like that. And
do you think it's always a bit of a risk though? Because you do see some business partners who are friends.
Absolutely, but everything we do is a risk.
Yeah, true.
I think it's just managing that. But ultimately, if you're going into business with someone, it'd be good to understand who they are. Are your values aligned? But if it's a friend or not. But ultimately, it's making sure that vision's very clear in the business. And again, the way you get there, the steps in the ladder get there, is something you need to discuss and making sure you're aligned on.
Yeah. Someone said, "How did you propose?"
Well, you know what, that was such a great time, but also a bit of a stressful time in my life, to be honest.
And incredibly stressful.
I know. I didn't actually plan to have it all happening at once, but for your audience, I was in the sales process, deep into a sales process of my company, and to sell your business, it's really a 2-year process. I tell people, like, if you're doing it at a certain level, and we sold our company, which is I think the third or second biggest beauty sale in Australia's history. So it wasn't a small sale. And to go through that process, you need to ensure that there's a lot of pre-work to be done with firms and lawyers, and then going into the process. It's quite time consuming. I didn't realise how time consuming it was. But by saying that, I had a timeline, and I wanted to make sure that I was proposing to the love of my life and I wasn't holding back too much on that. And like anything, nothing really works out in terms of timelines, and the delayed in the business sale was occurring, and I was sort of getting a bit worried at one stage, going, hang on, I still haven't sold the business, and I'm plan to propose in Byron Bay, which is a place we love. And I got some help in terms of the way I had this vision. Like anything, I always have a vision, and I try to get the best people helping me execute that vision, and I got some help on executing on Watergoes Beach, the beach we love, and making sure those touch points were nice, and having an element of surprise in it was really important. And I put a lot of effort towards it. I thought it was all going to come down because you actually went to Byron Bay a week or two before.
Yeah, you had a work trip planned, and
right.
Melbourne was like shit weather. And I was like, you know what? If you're away, I'm going to book myself a solo trip to Byron. And you were like, what?
Oh, I know. I was like, hang on. And also you knew what I was dealing with as well in terms of selling the business. So not only did you do this solo trip, I had to tell you, let's go back to Byron.
Yeah, you had to find an excuse to get me back to Byron a week later.
So I sort of come up with this excuse, which is kind of not an excuse now because it actually did occur, but to find a holiday home up there that I wanted to view some properties with you.
Yeah,
and you were telling me why this time, which all makes sense. Like, why now? You haven't even sold the company. You're stressed. You're pretty stressed.
The house can wait. We can get a holiday house later.
I just can't put my life on hold. And anyway, I managed to influence you to get there, and everything went perfect until we're actually staying at Ray's, which is in Watergoes, and we're on the balcony. I remember this, and I was still on the phone, like messaging the videographer and a few other things to make sure everything's ready to go. And then I saw a drone come over, and the drone not only came over to our balcony. I'm going, what the hell is going on here?
And I was like, Shaun, there's a drone on our balcony.
I go, oh shit, I think that's our drone.
Lucky for you, there were some kids on the grass outside the hotel, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it must be those young kids like playing around.
And again, just for the audience, I obviously said to you that we're going to see this house, open inspection, kind of like selling Sunset feel, because we have a DJ there. It's got this big opening party at this house. And I sort of somehow sold it to you because I wanted you to wear something nice.
You got our friends involved. That's
Yes.
how it sold me. Because
Yes.
I remember thinking, what does like selling Sunset vibes? I don't know if Byron really does
that.
But our friends played along so well.
They
Our
did.
girlfriend was like,
They
you know,
did.
asked her what to wear,
Yeah,
and she was
good
like,
friend.
yeah, played her along really well. So.
Yeah, no, so Ricky from Byron really helped us with that. And then I said Uber was booked at the front, which it wasn't. Got you downstairs, and all I was nervous about was, Shaun, don't lose this ring. Like, I had it in my pocket. I was like, don't lose this ring. And then we didn't walk past. We walked past like the car park, went straight for the beach. Then he sort of looked at me and said, do you trust me? And she looked at me, what? And then anyway, we walked down there, and then we saw everything in terms of videographer.
Well, what actually happened was I looked up, and then I saw a photographer and videographer, and
that's right.
the penny dropped, and I was like, oh my God. But I didn't get my bearings and look around, and we just like kept walking on the sand for like, I don't know, it felt like 100 meters or something. And I was like, where the hell are we going? And I was like, maybe he's not proposing, because surely he would have just dropped to one knee and done it already. I just kept walking. Finally, I got my bearings a bit, came out of my shock, and I like looked around, and then I saw the most amazing altar set up on the sand, and it was so beautiful. It was like hundreds of roses on
beautiful.
it.
It's such a beautiful moment.
Photos of Dexter.
And we're so lucky with the weather as well. Like everything, the
stunning.
sunset, and just spending time with you under that altar. And I just didn't want that time to stop.
Oh, and it went so fast.
It went so
was such
fast
a
as
magical
well.
moment. Yeah.
And I had some music there because you love music and techno, so I had a techno play.
You had techno in the background. I actually didn't notice it
Oh,
at
no,
all.
I
I was
did.
so
I
in my
did.
bubble. At the end, you're like, did you hear the playlist?
Yeah.
No.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that
it was truly
awesome.
amazing.
No, it was a special moment.
So
I loved
special.
it. I loved
That's
it.
our little spot forever.
Yeah.
So before we do our little Test Talks diary entry, I thought it would be really fun to do a rapid quick fire questions.
Great.
So my assistant has got, I think, like 10 questions or something that we can do together.
All right. Here we go.
I'm going to come sit next to you.
Okay.
Is it
Let's
comfy?
squeeze in. Yep. I'm comfy.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello, Sav.
Okay, so the questions are kind of turbo, but we're just going to go for it.
Okay.
So, who said I love you first?
Shaun.
Okay. Who is most likely to do a hit and run?
Shaun.
Mate.
Who is most likely to forget your anniversary?
Mate.
Shaun.
Okay.
But I won't let him forget, so don't worry.
When you argue, who makes less sense?
Shaun.
How about that? Okay, I'll take it.
You said before I'm the logical one or
Yeah,
something.
true. No, that's true, actually. That's true.
Who would survive longer on a deserted island? Let's be strategic here.
I think I would, to be honest. I think I would.
I think so too.
Because I'll find a way to find people to help me.
Shaun is a delegator. He only delegates. There's no people on the desert
Yeah, well, I don't
island,
know. I'll find some animals.
Find someone. Hey, I just pop out.
I feel like mentally I would
I'm
laugh
very good with
better.
limited resources.
I would just end up like meditating the whole time and just go like full
Levitate
spiritual.
out of there.
Yeah.
Who is the better cook?
Tess.
Okay. Who is more likely to fall down a flight of stairs?
Tess.
No,
Yes.
you're so clumsy.
No, you're clumsy, Anne.
You.
Who is more needy?
I reckon we're pretty even.
Yeah, pretty even that one, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Who has better music taste?
Tess.
Me. I am the DJ.
Who is most likely to get arrested?
Probably me.
Shaun. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, I'm going with a license.
See, I just don't get caught.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Thanks.
That was fun. We obviously like ending the episode with a little Test Talks diary entry. So I thought it would be cute for us to put in like a little entry on behalf of both of us. So like a little piece of advice or I don't know, like something cute that we want to like share or like leave behind. So what do you think? Something that we would want to...
I think we've always shared this. I'm not sure if it's a piece of advice, but probably more of a quote. But your goal's always been my goal and vice versa. So
Yeah, we've spoken about
yeah,
this. I love that.
So I think that,
Your goal is my goal.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think we've always supported each other with that, and that's what a true partnership's about. So I like that. Your goal is my goal.
I love that. I feel like that's very aligned to us.
Very good.
So cute. Thanks for joining me, honey.
Thanks, Tessie.
That was fun.
Loved it.
We'll do this again.
Absolutely. Thanks, hon.
Thanks so much for listening. If you loved the episode, please subscribe, rate, and review. It honestly means so much and helps to keep these conversations going. And I'd love to connect with you. You can message me on Instagram or TikTok, and I've left all the details from the episode in the show notes below. I'll see you next week.